What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture, and today I'm here to tell you that your Loki comic book spec was wrong. Now, honestly, I'm just kind of playing with you all. I'm not here to tell anybody that they were technically wrong, but we are going to look at the episode 6 of the Loki show, and we're going to break some things down and talk about what spec books matter now and moving forward. So fair warning, if you have not watched the Loki show, especially if you have not caught the final season finale episode, pause this video, go watch it, catch up on the show, come back to it, because I don't want to spoil it for you. There will be major spoilage in this video. Before we get into it, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the awesome links below, as always, including links to how you can support the channel via either Patreon or by becoming a YouTube member by clicking the join button. That's only $1.99 a month. You get extra special perks, and you also get to help support the channel. And of course, check out our comic book canon YouTube channel. We have live shows every Friday night. That link is below. Give us a sub there. We're reaching 1,000 subscribers over there, so we're going to be announcing 1,000 subscriber contest very soon. So let's talk about Loki spec books. First off, I just have to say I absolutely love the show. I believe it was my favorite. I don't believe it. I know it. It was my favorite out of all the three, although I've loved all three Disney Plus Marvel shows so far. People were like, it's slow, it's this and that. I was enjoying every single moment of it. I absolutely love Tom Hiddleston and what he's done with the Loki character. He's right behind, in my humble opinion, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans for really being iconic in their roles of these characters. So, all that aside, though, we have been sitting here since the end of last year talking about MCU spec when it comes to these Disney Plus shows. For WandaVision, it was Mephisto. Mephisto's coming. Somebody's coming, and nobody came. Although there was a lot of Easter eggs dropped. We saw the Darkhold, and you know it's leading up to things, right? Then we watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh, is it going to lead to mutants? Are we going to see Omega Red? Yada, yada. And, you know, nothing really big. Although we did get the Easter egg at the end of the show, possibly building up to Thunderbolts, right? So something was there, but we're still waiting for this big thing. And so Loki starts, and I personally start watching Loki, and I'm like, this is the show. This is the show, and it's going to lead up to something big. This is the one. Now, a couple weeks back, I did an unboxing of a book that I have right here. This is Avengers number 10, the first appearance of Immortus, and I made a prediction in that video. Everyone is talking about Kang. Now, we know that Kang is going to show up in Quantumania, you know, the next Ant-Man and Wasp movie. We know that's a fact. But what's the actor's name? Jonathan Majors, I believe, is going to be playing him. Everyone thinks that Loki's big baddie, and at this point we have one more episode, everyone thinks Loki's big baddie is going to be Kang. All right? Well, here's my theory. Immortus. I think that it's going to be Immortus that we see at the end of the Loki show. I think Loki's going to give us someone, and I believe it to be Immortus. Now, if you guys understand, if you know anything about Immortus, and if you know what's going on in the Loki show, and you understand West Coast Avengers issues number 61 and 62, you might understand why I'm saying no, folks. It's not Kang. Now, and then if you know anything about Immortus and Kang, without me giving too much away, you'll know it's kind of that everything is interwoven here, okay? But I still believe it's going to be Immortus that we see. Yep, I said it. At that point, you know, when we were 5 episodes in, and you see Loki and Sylvie, you know, walking up to the Citadel at the end of time, I'm saying no. Everyone at that point was Kang, it's Kang, or some folks were like, it's a different version of Loki controlling it all. Now, way back when we got our first taste of Loki, when the first trailer dropped and we saw what appeared to be the Timekeepers, I did a video discussing Loki Spec, and I talked about the first appearance of the Time Twisters and He Who Remains. And I talked about those Thor books that once the show got, once that dropped, nobody else was talking about it. Everyone else was talking about the first appearance of the modern Timekeepers, right? So the interesting thing is this. All of this stuff obviously correlates still and is still connected. But we fast forward to the end of episode 5, everyone talking about Kang. And I'm like, nope. I mean, I get it. It's all interwoven. You can't talk about Immortus really without talking about Kang. But I'm focused on what's going to happen in this 6th episode. And I'm saying Immortus. So what happens? We go into the 6th episode. They go into the Citadel. And they name drop He Who Remains. So now it's not Immortus, it's He Who Remains. Now, because He Who Remains was basically the original creator of the Timekeepers. And the door opens though, and we see Jonathan Majors. And I knew right when I saw him that it was Immortus. Now, you all might be watching saying, it's not Immortus, it's Kang, or it's He Who Remains. It's just a version. Now, here's the thing. He Who Remains is not Kang in the comic books. But what I see Marvel did is they switched things up a little bit, which they are privy to do to make it work. They're good at remaining true to the source material, but they make little twerks and changes to make it work in their, Marvel Cinematic Connected Universe. So what they did, though, was they made He Who Remains Immortus. Now, how do I know that it was Immortus? Okay, first off, the clothes and the drapes, the garments that he was wearing was Immortus, not Kang. Now, here's the thing. Immortus, Kang, all of them wear purple and green, right? But if you look at the medallion on his chest, you will see that is the medallion that is on Immortus in the comic books. All right, the cloak with the cape is exactly the same with the purple cloak cape with the green underneath, exactly like Immortus. Now, here's the other thing. It was his personality. Now, remember when he was name dropping, they were like, what's your name? Or, I have many names. And he was saying, some call me, what did he say? Like a leader. Some call me a conqueror. And he talked like that because that's how Kang's demeanor is like, I'm a conqueror. And then he was like, some call me a jerk. But he was very whimsical. And he was doing that to deceive Loki and Sylvie. And in my humble opinion, he knew what he was doing all along. This is what Immortus does. He wants you to play into your hand. This goes back to the story in this issue and his portrayal in the comic books of how he deceives people. Now, if you understand Immortus in the comic books too, everything that Jonathan Majors' character was saying was Immortus. Immortus is the last incarnation of Kang from the 31st century. That's what he said. I'm from the 31st century. And he was explaining all of his variants and so forth and how that happened. In the comic books, Immortus is the keeper of time. He eventually worked with the Timekeepers in the TVA. He was immortal. And he basically did everything that Jonathan Majors was saying in that episode 6 of Loki about keeping the timeline in check, keeping other variants of himself in check. This was Immortus. Now, the death, when Sylvie stabbed him, he wanted that to happen. He's not dead. That's why he said, see you soon, and winked. And it also set the table for Kang because we all know that Loki went back to the TVA, saw the timeline change, and there was the statue of Kang. And we know this was Kang because of the chest plate in the costume. All right? So ultimately, that's why I said, for folks saying, Kang, you weren't essentially wrong. At the end of the show, we got the Easter egg, not even just the Easter egg, we got it. We got the statue of Kang. Kang is coming, right? We also know there's going to be a season 2, which I believe is going to come out next summer, just like this one came out this summer, which is going to be before Quantumania, which we know Kang is going to be in. That comes out February 2023. So I do believe that we're going to see this play out in season 2, and that's going to lead probably like right into Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. But this was Immortus, and I called it. It was Immortus, and I don't think... Now, here's let's talk about Spec and what this means for our Spec. We already knew that Kang was coming. I don't think we really knew that Kang would show up in Loki until we got some episodes in, and we started realizing what was going on. And like I said, that's why everyone thought that the person behind the doors, the wizard behind Oz, was going to be Kang, even though it was Immortus. Blended in with He Who Remains, right? So those spec books are solid. What this is going to do, though, because of the statue of Kang at the end, it's definitely going to boost the Kang books up right now. But nobody is talking about Immortus. And that's why I went and got this, because that absolutely was Immortus. And my thing is this: Immortus is not dead. Immortus is not dead. He is essentially immortal. And if I do believe, I'm not saying that Kang is going to be the next Thanos. I can't predict that yet. But what I do believe is that the incarnations of Kang are so intricate that it's going to be something that's big. And I do believe Immortus is going to continue to play a role with Kang. I do believe we're going to see the Council of Kangs. We possibly might see the Kang War. And Immortus has a play in all of this. So, and I thought Jonathan Majors play. He was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And how he played the character, the dialogue. I've watched it 3 times already before filming this. So what do I think about the Immortus books? I think there are a lot of books out there that are still under the radar simply because everyone's talking about Kang. Nobody is talking about Immortus. Come on, guys, read some comic books, right? Now, here's the other thing. Remember these. Remember these books. West Coast Avengers 61 and 62. These got hot because of the Timekeepers. But that's not the only reason now. This book right here, and I'm not just saying this because I have these books. You guys that watch my channel know me. I'm not sitting here trying to pitch you something to sell books. I actually am selling this. I have a couple copies, but these other ones are absolutely not for sale. Absolutely not. They will go to my grave with me and down to my family. This is the origin of Immortus, though, and also it ties into Dark Scarlet Witch. So remember, Dark Scarlet Witch, that getting hot, right? It ties in to Immortus. I'm not going to give too much away of what goes on in the comics because I want you to read it, but Immortus and Dark Scarlet, Immortus, Dark Scarlet, Immortus, Dark Scarlet, Multiverse of Madness, the timeline rupturing, creating multiversal war, multiversal chaos, multiversal madness, which was said by Immortus at the end of, in episode 6 of Loki. Something bigger is going on here, and nobody's talking about Immortus. I'm telling you. So that's what I have to say, everyone. Look, these books, in my humble opinion, are going to stay hot because of both what's been going on in WandaVision and the Loki show and what's going to continue. I never sit here and tell you all what to buy, but if you're out there specking, all right, obviously, Kang is huge. A lot of those keys are out of my price range and I don't own, and they're not going to slow down anytime soon. If you could get your hands on some Immortus keys for a decent value and do your homework, I always say do your homework, do your research, have patience, I definitely think it's worth it. I do. Now, there's always the possibility. Look, this is just my opinion. I don't know, but I am, how I like to be. I'm confident in my assertion. You never know, but I'm putting all the pieces together, everyone. It's all speculation. I'm not Kevin Feige, right? But here's the thing. Immortus could be a one-off, and we might not see Immortus again. Jonathan Majors just might come in as King. But that's, in my humble opinion, that's highly, highly unlikely. So, it was exciting for my prediction to come to fruition. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. What did you think watching that show? Did you think it was just he who remains? Did you think it was Kang, a different incarnation of Kang? Did you understand that it was Immortus? Did you put those pieces together? And what do you think about these books moving forward? And what books are you guys going to be hunting moving forward? I would love to hear all of your thoughts below. I had a great time just filming this video and talking about this. I'm super excited. I might go watch episode 6 again. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Be well, be kind to each other, and until next time.